What's up, Clipzy fam? Get ready for some mind-blowing news that's about to drop. First up, John Lennon's legendary holiday hit, Happy Christmas, War is Over, is getting the collectible treatment with a special 7-inch vinyl release from Yumi, celebrating some of the greatest Yuletide songs ever recorded. Next, we're diving deep into the roots of a rock legend. New research reveals that John Lennon's ancestral line stretches back not just to Wales, but to royalty, including Owain Glyndŵr himself. Get ready for some seriously surprising family history. Then, we're going back to where it all began for another Beatle. George Harrison shares the story of his very first guitar, a humble acoustic bought with a loan from his mom, proving that even rock gods start somewhere. And finally, prepare for a history lesson that shook the nation. We're talking about John Lennon and Yoko Ono's groundbreaking week-long takeover of The Mike Douglas Show in 1972, a move so radical it put Lennon directly in the FBI's crosshairs. You don't want to miss this. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Happy Christmas, War is Over gets a classic vinyl release. John Lennon and Yoko Ono's timeless holiday anthem, Happy Christmas, War is Over, is set to be honored with a special 7-inch vinyl release as part of Yumi's collectible series. This iconic song, originally released in 1971 and featuring the Harlem Community Choir, has resonated through generations not just as a Christmas standard, but also as a powerful anti-war statement. Produced by Phil Spector, the song's enduring appeal makes it a perfect addition to Yumi's lineup of classic holiday tracks. The limited edition record will feature the original B-side, Listen, the Snow is Falling, which Yoko Ono herself called the first pop song she ever wrote. This collectible release also includes other holiday favorites like Bing Crosby's White Christmas and the Jackson 5's Santa Claus is Comin' to Town, pressed on colored vinyl and housed in display-worthy sleeves. Fans can also opt for a box set featuring multiple 7 inches. The inclusion of Happy Christmas, War is Over in this series highlights its lasting impact on holiday music and culture. For fans looking to add a piece of music history to their collection, this limited edition vinyl is a must-have. Don't go anywhere, because the history we're uncovering next is fit for a king. Prepare to be amazed as we reveal John Lennon's astonishing royal connections. John Lennon's royal Welsh ancestry revealed. Forget what you thought you knew about John Lennon's roots. New genealogical research, meticulously detailed in genealogist Richard Edmonds' book, Inside the Beatles' Family Tree, traces the legendary musician's ancestry back to some of the most significant figures in Welsh history, including Owain Glyndŵr and Llewellyn the Great. Edmonds' decade-long research challenges previous accounts, reconstructing Lennon's family tree from original documents. The findings reveal that through his mother Julia's side, Lennon is a direct descendant of Owain ap Hugh, an Elizabethan High Sheriff of Anglesey, and further back to Tudur ap Gruffydd, brother of the Welsh national hero Owain Glyndŵr. This lineage also connects him to Llewellyn the Great and even King John of England and King Alfred the Great. The book details Lennon's more immediate Welsh ancestors, tracing back to Victorian-era figures like John Millward and Mary Elizabeth Morris, whose lives were marked by both hardship and resilience. Mary, a devout Welsh speaker, played a crucial role as a matriarch who instilled Welsh culture within the family. This revelation offers a fascinating new perspective on Lennon's identity, linking the counterculture icon to a rich royal and national heritage, a stark contrast to his own anti-establishment views. It paints a compelling picture of a life journeying from humble beginnings to global stardom, with roots reaching back to the very foundations of Welsh royalty. From royal bloodlines to humble beginnings, we're strumming along to the next story. Get ready to hear how a simple loan helped shape a rock legend's destiny. George Harrison's first guitar story. Before he was a rock and roll icon, George Harrison was just a teenager dreaming of guitars. He recently shared how his mother's loan helped him purchase his very first instrument, an Egmont 150 Toledo acoustic guitar. Harrison, who was around 13 or 14 at the time, was completely captivated by guitars, sketching them in class and yearning to own one. He heard about a fellow student selling a guitar for £3.10, a significant sum back in 1957. He managed to get the money from his mother, a pivotal moment that set him on the path to becoming a member of the Beatles. This initial instrument was a far cry from the iconic guitars he would later play. The £3 and 10 pence from 1957 is equivalent to about £95 today, notably less than the cost of John Lennon's first guitar. Harrison's journey with guitars continued with a Hofner President and eventually a Futurama, which he acquired before the Fender Stratocaster became unattainable due to import restrictions. His early guitars, including a Gretsch Duojet, played a crucial role during the Beatles' formative years in Hamburg. This story highlights the humble beginnings of a legendary musician and the crucial support system, like his mother, that helped him pursue his passion. From the early days of guitars to a week that made headlines. Prepare for a story about John Lennon taking over American television and the government's intense reaction. John Lennon's FBI-triggering TV takeover. In February 1972, John Lennon and Yoko Ono turned The Mike Douglas Show into a radical platform, broadcasting counterculture ideas to millions of American homes and triggering an intense reaction from the Nixon administration and the FBI. For a week, the show, which reached up to 40 million viewers, became a showcase for progressive and left-wing ideologies, featuring guests like activist Jerry Rubin and Black Panther co-founder Bobby Seale. Lennon and Ono aimed to present alternative viewpoints on issues such as feminism, race, and government overreach, directly challenging the conservative policies of the Nixon era. This bold move, intended to bypass the conservative press and reach Middle America, was perceived by the U.S. government as a significant threat. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover initiated increased surveillance on Lennon, labeling him a security matter and his friend Jerry Rubin an extremist. Lennon's phone calls were tapped, and informants were deployed as the FBI frantically sought grounds for deportation, citing a past marijuana conviction. Despite the government's intense scrutiny and attempts to deport him, Lennon successfully fought for his right to stay in the U.S., eventually obtaining his green card in 1976. The week on The Mike Douglas Show not only amplified the counterculture's voice, but also underscored the government's paranoia, a sentiment that would later be overshadowed by the Watergate scandal. This event remains a powerful example of the intersection of music, politics, and freedom of speech. And that's a wrap on today's news. But don't go anywhere yet, we've got a quick recap and a huge call to action coming right up. All right, Clipzy crew, let's do a lightning recap. John Lennon's Happy Christmas, War is Over is getting a special vinyl release. Uncovering John Lennon's royal Welsh ancestry is blowing minds. George Harrison's first guitar story is a classic, and John Lennon's TV takeover had the FBI all over him. If you loved this news blast, make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, drop a like on this video, and share it with your friends. Follow us on all social media platforms for even more exclusive content. We'll see you in the next one.